You absolutely can fix your anterior pelvic tilt. However, it seems like all of the exercises that you could research around the internet, they are not working on the permanent basis. All of these butt bridges, all of these crunches for abdominal wall, stretches of your hip flexors, they all seems to give you just a temporary relief. But today I will show you a new method, the new approach of fixing these conditions of your pelvis. Also, I will show you a few exercises in the end of this video that will help you to start your healing journey right now at home. Let's go. So, what is the problem actually of all these exercises? Why not to do these bridges? Why they're not working if they are so popular? You see, all of these basic old approaches are viewing our pelvis from the perspective of being isolated, meaning they are working with our pelvis in very isolated local way. And the problem is your pelvis is just a small piece of a big puzzle. It's a small piece of your entire posture. And what posture does? The number one function of your posture is actually to advance you forward, is to walk. You have wrong pelvis position, you have wrong pattern of motions. So if you want to fix that wrong position of your pelvis, you need to fix wrong pattern of walking.
So remember, your tightness of your hip flexors is being driven by your brain and by pattern of walking that being wired inside of your brain.
So let me bring you an example of what I mean by saying that you need to exercise your walking patterns, not your specific muscle groups. We all know that it seems that the anterior pelvic tilt mainly being caused by tight hip flexors. They are both pulling your pelvis forward. Therefore, for some reason, you have to stretch it out. Now, let me show you the alternative way of relaxing that hip flexor. As you can see, this is our patient. What she does, that she stands on her right leg while her left leg is being extended back, just like during the pattern of walking. Now, what she does, she extended her left hip and she engaged her left hamstring muscles. Therefore, the hamstring muscles is an opposition to hip flexors, because hip flexors flexing the hip and hip extenders extending the hip. In this new position, which she is right now training, she is relaxing her hip flexors naturally. When your hip is being extended, your hip flexors being elongated and being worked into eccentric contraction. And that her brain can accept if it's a walking pattern on a daily basis. However, any kinds of bridges, crunches, stretches, your brain does not know how to implement these activities into the daily walking process. It's just something strange and very artificially manufactured. Once again, entire body will be affected and influenced by bad position of the pelvis. Hence, entire body is needed to be exercised in order for you to feel changes and to see changes. There is no other way around. So if you didn't know, your anterior pelvic tilt will cause your hips to be externally rotated, your knees to be in position of hyperextension, most of the times of course, and your feet to be outwardly pointed most of the time. Of course, there is underlying asymmetry, it's not that symmetrical, but I'm not talking about asymmetry in this video. Your rib cage will have a rib flare on both sides, and your posterior rib cage will be compressed and sometimes painful. So, entire body is jammed into the position of fight or fly response. You are being in the position of stress all the time. You need to inhibit that position by activating flexion, by activating systemic flexion. That's how you can relax your body. So let's go. All right, so fairly simple exercise. Lie on your back, put your hips like in 90 degree angle with your knees, ball between your knees. Now look here, as I previously mentioned many times,
During the anterior pelvic tilt, we will have external rotation of both hips, and we have to facilitate the opposite. So put your ball between both knees, slightly compress that ball. As you can see, this is fairly small ball. Put both heels and feet like that, so that will facilitate internal rotation. Now push both of your heels into the chair and elevate your pelvis up.
Now elevate the pelvis up from the floor, but don't detach your lower back from the floor. Maintain that position, feel both of your hamstrings being activated, and now reach with your arms towards the ceiling. Maintain that pose, and now every single time when doing breathe in through your nose, you are reaching even more towards the ceiling. So have long, strong breathe out, wait 3 seconds, and then again breathing and reach with your hands during the breathe in. Do these like 3-5 breaths, that's equal of 1 set. Do 2 sets and then you're good to go towards the next more difficult exercise. The following exercise is actually meant to induce the systemic flexion. Remember I told you that anterior pelvic tilt being associated with the systemic extension. Now we have to do the reverse. So let's do that in standing position. Now put this ball between your knees. This ball actually meant to create some artificial borders. Therefore, your knees and your hips will not collapse inwardly or will not spread out like that. You need a neutral position in order for your pelvis to be neutral. Now stand against this chair. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be something specific. Now bend both knees, round slightly your pelvis, do the posterior pelvic tilt really gently. Now what you have to do is now every single time when I'm doing breathe in, I'm trying to expand this space of my rib cage, and in order for me to be successful, I will be reaching forward towards the direction of the chair, like I'm doing this, okay? Now after that, I'm doing breathe out and I'm squatting down with my knees moving forward ahead of the toes as much as I can. But as soon as I will elevate my heels off the floor, it means that the movement is over and I have to move up and to repeat the motion once again. So let's do everything together. Breathe in, breathe out, squat down. Move both knees ahead of your toe boxes. Again, breathe in, inhale, and then exhale, squat down. Inhale, exhale, squat down. If you feel that this is enough, then it means this is enough. Stand up, relax for 30 seconds, and repeat this exercise 3 times. So before I will show you the last exercise for today, let me remind you that if you are struggling with chronic pain, with postural problems, I can help you via online consultation or online coaching. All of the contact information will be down below under this video. Let's go to the last exercise. This exercise, which I'm about to show you, will stretch out, will elongate this entire portion of your hip flexors. And it will elongate it by putting your femur in the extended position. Now, stand like this, bend both knees, bend over slightly with your trunk, and now do the inhale. And upon the exhale, you should do the retro walk. So what for do you need this exercise? You see, by stepping backwards, you are elongating and stretching out your tight and shortened hip flexors that are meant to put your pelvis into anterior pelvic tilt. Now your hip flexor on the left is being elongated. So first mistake to avoid, please do a long step enough so your hip can be slightly extended, or at least to be in its neutral position before you are landing your feet. And the second thing, every single time when you are landing your feet, you cannot land it with your toe box. You must land it with your heels. The first must be in contact with the floor with your heels. Heels goes first. Heels, heels, heels. Because otherwise, you will not teach your brain how to use correctly your hip extenders. Alright, I hope this video was helpful for you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another one. Thank you.